Hello, and welcome. All right, so today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is pre-sales. But instead of talking about why you should have a pre-sale, I wanted to go over why you shouldn't have a pre-sale. And that might seem kind of backwards, but I know y'all know I love pre-sales. But but for some people they just aren't a good fit. And I'm somebody who likes to be integrous and make sure that I am sharing those same kind of concepts with clients. But for some things, pre-sales are just not really a good fit, and for some people, pre-sales are not a good fit. Now, there are options that are outside of the way that I do pre-sales, so I won't really be addressing those. But in terms of this, I'm talking about a pre-sale that's hosted on your website. Some of these will apply to other types of pre-sales, like a Kickstarter or the method where you let people know, hey, I'm writing a book. Go ahead and pay X amount of dollars and you can get your name in the book. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on your website pre-sale. All right, so let's get started. So I am Ashley, and I'm the owner of Selfpublishing House, and we help authors get from the page to the people with efficient and effective marketing strategies to get paid to publish. All right, so reason number one why you should not have a book pre-sale. If you are somebody who does not keep your word, and I say that as in like in life in general, you're somebody who is not consistent, you are not going to follow through, meaning you're not going to finish your book, or you are not going to be able to complete the process in terms of getting your pre-sale done. You're going to be pushing your pre-sale out weeks and weeks and weeks and months and months and months without like a real clear end date, then you should not have a pre-sale. And I say that because your book is your baby and your book is also a business. And your book is likely tied to your business. And so if you are going to be doing anything that's going to compromise your word is your bond. If you're going to be doing anything like that that's going to compromise the integrity of your word, you don't want to do that, because it's going to affect everything else that's in your business. And so if you feel like you don't have the capacity for a pre-sale in terms of making sure that you are going to keep your word that the book is actually going to come out, then it's not a good look. It's not a good option. Now, this doesn't mean that if there's setbacks that are out of your control, or there's like shipping delays or things like that, that's not a reason to just eliminate the whole pre-sale. If you're communicating with your audience, which we'll talk about, that's totally fine. I just mean someone who's like, okay, I say I'm going to do this, and then I fall off the face of the earth, and then I never do the thing. Then that's not why we don't want to do pre-sales for that. Okay, then I mentioned earlier, you're not going to finish your book. Now, there are different schools of thought. There's some people who start their pre-sale before they've even written any of their book. And there's some people who do it about halfway, like they start their pre-sale when they're about halfway done. There's some folks who do it when they get into formatting. When you start your pre-sale is really dependent upon a couple factors. It depends on your goals. It depends on your bandwidth, what you have the ability to juggle, whether you're working full time, if you're doing your business full time, whatever the case may be. But regardless of all that, if you are not going to finish that book, please do not have a pre-sale and have people waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for a book that's never going to be done. So you want to decide when along that process you feel comfortable taking people's money, because when you do that, like I said, you are using a level of responsibility that is very important, that you want people to trust you in the future and trust you for right now. Reason number 3 why you should not have a pre-sale: if you're not committed to keeping deadlines. Now, things happen, life happens, life be laughing. But if you know from jump, like, okay, this date is unrealistic in the first place, please do not do that to your audience. You want to make sure it's something that is realistic for you to be able to accomplish. For example, with my first 2 pre-sales, I had one child, and he was under 1, so he was 9 months for the first book, and then like 11 months for the second book. And so I've always been a night owl, so I was able to crank out my stuff in between his feedings because I was just up. And even now, like, I'm able to do that with my second, but I needed a longer timeline and a longer runway because now I have two kids and adjusting to a different lifestyle now, full-time stay-at-home mom, full-time entrepreneur. Like it's just a different lifestyle. So understanding like, okay, when you're making your deadlines, make them realistic for yourself. Add an extra cushion for you to be able to make mistakes or have shipping delays or have extra time to figure out how to do certain things if you're entering this and you've never done these things before, or building in extra time to hire help, such as my company where we actually complete people's pre-sales for them from their social media wording, their website wording, their graphics, things like that. Having that time built in, if you're like, okay, I know that I can't do this on my own, let me go ahead and hire out to be able to make this manageable. Regardless of whatever path you choose, making sure that you are keeping those deadlines for your customers and not keeping them waiting beyond what you've let them know that the timeline is going to be. Moving to the next point, why you shouldn't have a pre-sale. If you do not want to communicate with your customers. Now, okay, I'm about to get on a soapbox. So I don't understand. I'm gonna say this. How can I say this? I don't understand when people are so willing to take people's money, but then so unwilling to communicate with them about the money that they have taken and about what's happening with that money. That is wild to me. Um, and I know scammers be scamming. I understand it. But if you're serving someone and if your book is really intended to help somebody, whether or not it's finished or not, the fact that you are not wanting to send emails to them or not wanting to post on social media about this thing, that's really problematic. Like we can't treat our customers like that. If we want people to purchase from us and we want to be able to help them and we want to be able to change lives and we want to fulfill our God-given purpose here on earth, we have to talk to them. So you want to make sure that you're communicating with your customers. Now, that doesn't mean you have to talk to them every day. That's not what I'm saying. But you want to talk to them on a consistent basis. So whether it's like a weekly update, a twice weekly update, and in a cadence that works for you. So something that's going to be manageable for you. But you want to make sure that you are visible. You don't want to take their money and then fall off the face of the earth because then they're not going to trust you again. So I'll move on. All right, next reason why you should not have a pre-sale. If you are somebody who just wants to ghost your clients instead of providing quality, consistent communication, so meaning that you are going to do all the things you need to do at the beginning before you get their money, and then after you get their money, you're going to disappear, or you're never going to deliver the product, or you're going to continuously make excuses that are outside reason. So, like once again, shipping delays out of your control, manufacturing delays out of your control. But all of those things are things you can communicate with your customers about. And people are very understanding as long as you are open and honest and upfront. There have been multiple times where I've had situations where, with my first pre-sale, Amazon lost half my books. And this was during 2020, and so shipping was crazy. It was September 2020, and that package is still lost. 4 years later, it has not been found. Um, but Amazon refunded me, and it was fine. And at that time, I asked my customers who had purchased my bundle. I said, "Would you? I want you to pick which option you'd like to do. I'd be more than happy to do it for you. So, would you like a refund? Would you like me to ship your bundle separate from your book? So whenever the books do arrive, I can send that later. Or do you want to wait?" 100% of the people said they wanted to wait. I didn't have to issue any refunds because I was open and honest about it. I let people know, hey, shipping is crazy right now. Or shipping is wild right now. I don't know when your book's going to get to you, but I'm going to make sure you get a book. And I say that because at this point, like, if you remember back in 2020, peak COVID, the post office was bananas, shipping was delayed. There were just so many delays. And so the fact that people even trusted me with their money to be able to get their book to them, get their book bundle to them, of course I wanted to make sure I honored that and made it so that they knew exactly what was going on. So being open and honest with folks and not falling off the face of the earth after you've gotten their business is super key. And then the last one, the last reason I have why you should, and there's probably other reasons, but the last one I'm gonna talk about today is last reason why you shouldn't have a pre-sale is that you are closed-minded about the possibilities of pre-sales. And I say that because I encounter potential clients or authors, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if I should even do that. I don't think that's gonna work for me." And the beautiful thing about pre-sales is that it's something that helps you to know whether or not your book is a good idea, because of course people can say they'll buy the book and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea," but the way that you actually can validate your idea, meaning say, "Okay, for sure this is exactly what I need to be doing," is when people pay with their dollars. Like, people can say, "Oh yeah, girl, that's great, what, yeah, whatever," but did they pay you with their dollars? That's how you can know if this is something that people actually want, is they will pay for it before they actually get the thing. If they pay for it and it's out, that's fine too, but doing it farther in advance is even more validation of like, okay, yeah, people actually want this thing. And it's also something where if you, this is more so for like digital products, but if you attempt to release the thing and you don't really get feedback on it, then you can know, okay, I don't need to spend time doing that thing because people don't want to buy it. So it's like, it's something where it can save you energy and let you know where to focus on things. And of course, if you're doing that, you want to make sure you've actually tried to get it to the people who would be the ideal audience for it before just saying this is not a good idea. But it's something that lets you know, okay, I should focus my efforts here because people need this. And that goes back to that research piece of people being able to, or people being able to say, okay, yes, I'm raising my hand. I need that thing. I will buy that thing when it comes out. And so if you are someone who is either hesitant about pre-sales, or you've never done a pre-sale before, or you're like, I am not sure how this will even work, I do have a free resource for you. And if you are able to view this, then you're going to scan the QR code that's there. If not, you'll be able to click the link in the description and you can grab your copy of my pre-sale timeline cheat sheet. And this will help you to know when to do what during your pre-sale to map out your steps. And I just realized I have a typo on these slides. Sorry, y'all. Okay. But you'll be able to realize what to do to map out your steps for the pre-sale. And then if you are needing more help and guidance, then it is something that we offer for either done for you pre-sales, meaning that we'll create we'll help create your pre-sale offer to help you decide what to include in your bundles. We will create your graphics, write your emails, things like that. Or if you want to learn the process and do it with the team and myself, then we also have coaching for pre-sales as well. And so if that's something you're interested in, then you can add a comment on this video and then we can connect with you as well. So hopefully this has been helpful for you, and let me know your biggest takeaway in the comments. Have a good one.